Good morning and half a day and tiro to everyone that are here this morning. Welcome to the Senate. Today's meeting is the Senate hearing on the motion to dismiss the articles of impeachment. And today is April 19, 2022, approximately 10:05 a.m. And I shall now call this hearing to order. Before I ask the clerk to call the roll, I'd like to offer a few ask moment of your time to allow me to deliver an opening remarks. I wanted to take a few minutes to recognize the importance of what is before us and the ground rules for how we will proceed. The Senate has been tasked with openly and efficiently conducting a hearing on the articles of impeachment introduced to the Senate by the Honorable House of Representatives by House Resolution number 22-014. The Senate passed its impeachment rules on March 3rd, 2022. At all times since the passage of these rules, the Senate has strictly followed them. Those rules describe how the impeachment process would proceed and gave all parties notice of how the Senate would conduct these proceedings. The House of Representatives has been invited multiple times, in accordance with the Senate impeachment rules, to act in the capacity of prosecutor for their own articles of impeachment. And three separate direct requests for the House to act as prosecutor has been met with either official refusal or a complete failure to respond. To make matters worse, and likely due to the failure of the House to act as prosecutor, the House impeachment record could not be organized in even the most simple manner. And to be clear, the rules permitted the House of Representatives to request as much time as they needed to prepare the impeachment record under Rule 9C2. However, there was never such a request, nor there was even an attempt by the House to reach out to my office or any of the Senate leadership for any clarification of the rules. The result is that Rule 9E requires the Senate to proceed without a prosecutor from the House of Representatives and without the record of impeachment from the House of Representatives. Today's hearing will specifically address the articles of impeachment in the context of a motion to dismiss filed by counsel for Governor Ralph de Leon Torres on March 28, 2022. For the purpose of this hearing and in accordance with the Senate impeachment rules, the moving party is required to make their arguments for dismissal to the Senate. The senators will have an opportunity to ask questions of the moving party in an effort to weigh the strength of their arguments and the facts and law that supports those arguments. It is my duty as the Senate President under Rule 2, Section 2D of the official rules of the Senate, and as the presiding hearing officer of these impeachment proceedings to maintain order and proper decorum. No member shall interrupt the argument of the moving party during their presentation. No member shall interrupt another member while that member holds the floor. All questions from members must be limited to the issue raised in the motion to dismiss and the oral arguments of the moving party. All questions from members must be limited to the issues raised in the motion to dismiss and the oral argument of the moving party. I will terminate the time of any member who chooses to address issues that are not related to the motion to dismiss and will not recognize them for any other questions. For the members of the general public who have joined us either to provide public comment or to observe these important proceedings, welcome. Due to the nature of these proceedings, I will require strict adherence to the rules governing our public comment. We value the public comment period. However, it is the duty of those wishing to give comment to comply with our rules. Most importantly, please respect the institution and the occasion for which you wish to give comment. There's no place for the use of profanity, accusatory language, or airing of general grievances. I will immediately terminate any speaker who chooses to violate these reasonable restrictions. In addition, the public comments are strictly followed by the published agenda. And if a comment begins to address topics that are not part of the agenda, I will ask the speaker to restrict their comments to our agenda. If the speaker continues to address issues outside of our agenda, I will terminate the speaker's time for public comment. Please keep your comments within 5 minutes in accordance with our published guidelines. I will ask our Senate staff to remind you of the time if you approach that limit. And I would direct the Senate staff to end the comment if it exceeds 5 minutes. Again, thank you for your participation in our democracy. And for the moving party, today will be the first day of all of us to be interacting in these proceedings. I understand as advocates, you are very passionate about the merits of your position. However, I am directing you to maintain the decorum of this chamber and all its members. And I also remind you to respect the gravity of the proceeding before us. At this time, my chair recognizes the clerk to call the roll.
Senator Cruz,
Here.
Senator De Leon Guerrero,
Here.
Senator Hokuk,
Here.
Mr. President,
Yaigi.
Senator King Neighbors,
Here.
Senator Mangloña, Senator Kirugua, Senator Sablan, Senator Santos. Mr. President, 7 members are present, 2 are absent.
With 7 members present and 2 absent, we have quorum to continue or to conduct this hearing. And clerk, let the record reflect that Senators Justo Kitugua and Vinny Sablan are hereby excused from this session. This time,
privilege, Mr. President.
state your privilege, Senator Po.
I just want to know. I'm looking ahead in the years, decades from now, maybe. I understand that some members might be conflict, but there's such a thing. I'm not a lawyer of rule of necessity, and I wish the legal counsel can provide us maybe sometime today with that issue. I just want to understand that, because in the future, if we lack the numbers in the Senate, because somebody can argue that you're a conflict, you have a conflict position, they can eliminate that, and in the future, where the member wants to vote for impeachment or against impeachment because he has some kind of conflict, even though he says, yeah, he's my uncle, but I truly believe that I represent the people and I'm going to make the right decision no matter what. I want to know, in instances like that, is there such a thing as rule of necessity to participate? And you're here for the people and you have the right to cast your vote.
Duly noted, Senator Po. Thank you for raising that point. And counsel, make note of that. So with that, 7 members present, we have a quorum to conduct this meeting. And again, I want to repeat myself, the Senator Kirugua and Sablan are hereby excused from these proceedings. And I now recognize Senator Victor Hokuk.
Mr. President, I just want to clarify whether the excuse of the 2 members as a result of their position to recuse themselves from participating. Thank you.
A clarification on the question. Thank you for the question, Senator Hokuk. And that is recusal on any today's hearing and the subsequent hearings heretofore with regards to the impeachment.
Thank you.
And so with that, I recognize you, Senator Hokuk. If you can make a motion to adopt today's agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the adoption of today's agenda. So,
The motion offered by Senator Victor B. Hokuk for adoption of today's hearing agenda and has been seconded. Discussion. Under discussion, Senator Mangloña, recognize.
Yeah, Mr. President, I will not be voting for today's agenda only because I feel that, I don't want to prolong the discussion, but as I have come out publicly, the issue of having a hearing with no 2 parties present, with the 2 parties not completely present, is an issue for me. The House were not authorized to have their own prosecutors, and were not given ample time to to provide the documents. It asked for 1 month, maybe even 2 weeks. So for that reason, I have concerns with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Manglonia, and duly noted. And for the record, as stated publicly in the rules of the Senate, there's 21 days that our colleagues from the House were given. And in those 21 days, 3 days leading to number 21, they have an opportunity to submit to the clerk or to my office to request for additional time for the records. None of that came to me until the last day. So I respect your position on that, but I also wanted to clarify and make it known to the public that it's not the Senate's doing that we're purposely proceeding on without an impeachment prosecutor. So with that, all those in favor of the motion to adopt today's meeting agenda, once again, please say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, there's a division on the floor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator De Leon Guerrero,
Nay.
Senator Hoku,
Yes.
Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia, Senator Santos. Mr. President,
Good.
Mr. President, 4 members voting yes, 3 members voting no, 2 absent.
With 4 members voting yes and 3 no, today's hearing agenda is hereby adopted. And moving on to item number 4, under public comments, this is the portion of the hearing today where we allow members of the public to offer comments with regards to the items and the order of business for today's Senate hearing. And again, I kindly ask that you adhere to the 5-minute rule, and also please state your name for the record. You're recognized.
Thank you. Good morning, honorable senators. For the record, my name is Christina Sablan, and I'm a member of the House of Representatives. If we knew nothing about the history leading up to today, it would be more than a little puzzling that the Senate would be conducting this proceeding in this way. After all, what is a trial without prosecutors? What is a trial without evidence? And how can you hear a motion to dismiss the articles of impeachment without prosecutors or evidence? If you will hear only one side, there can be only one foregone conclusion, and that, of course, is dismissal. In that event, there could be no pretending that there was any fairness or justice in this trial. But we do know about the history leading up to today. We know that the Senate has rejected the House's attempts to submit the impeachment record not just once, but twice. The first time, the submission was deemed premature, attempted before the rules were adopted. The second time, the record was deemed out of compliance with the rules. And it should be noted that the House believed in good faith that the submission was compliant, and so there was no request for an extension. The House clerk said she would need more time to reorganize 8,000 pages to the Senate's liking. Her request was rejected because the rules are the rules. Of course, we know about these rules too, that neither the public nor the House were allowed to see them before they were adopted by the Joint Committee in violation of the Open Government Act. We know who did get a chance to see them, though. And more than just see them, the Governor's Council actually had a hand in writing them. So it makes sense why the rules are the way they are. One-sided in favor of the impeached official every time. Tainted by the perception and the reality of bias. And it makes sense why the rules would be slanted so much against the House, that there could only be one prosecutor chosen by the Senate and no other, that the rules would make it possible to reject the House's entire record of evidence on mere technicalities, that the rules would also make today's proceeding possible, for the Senate to hear only the governor's side and his motion to dismiss, without a word from House prosecutors at trial or a shred of evidence for why you should instead convict. The rules are the rules. And yet, if the Senate were truly committed to strictly following the letter of the rules, the governor's motion to dismiss is actually out of order and time barred. It should not be entertained today at all, based on your rules. But since you are proceeding with this hearing, it's worth noting that the governor's motion to dismiss speaks not at all to the merits of impeachment. Half of his arguments are based on more technicalities, half are based on me. It's classic deflection, but also revealing. It shows so much about the governor's lack of actual defenses against the volumes of evidence pointing to his abuses of power and misuses of public funds. And it explains why he has gone to great lengths, even a lawsuit, to avoid testifying under oath at all costs. It's all there in the record, senators, if you will only look at it. Enough evidence for 15 members of the House to impeach Governor Torres, enough evidence for the Attorney General to file criminal charges, enough evidence for you, senators, to convict. In closing, I'd like to share with you some of the responses I received from members of the public to that question that I posed. What is a trial without prosecutors or evidence? And this is what people said. It's a kangaroo court, a corrupt trial, a farce, a slap in the face, a fixed trial, a joke, a disservice to the people, a mockery, a travesty, a waste of taxpayer dollars, a huge betrayal, not a trial at all. The eyes of the Commonwealth are upon you, senators. How will you be judged? Not just by our people today, but by history. Yet even at this juncture, I would submit to you that it is not too late to do what's right. Reset this hearing, reset this entire trial, revisit your rules. Allow the House prosecutors appointed by the Speaker. Allow the impeachment record. Above all, senators, allow the fair trial that our people deserve. Let your vote be according to your conscience and based on your analysis of the facts and all the evidence. There is still time. You can still do what's right.
Thank you, Representative Sablan. The floor is still open for public comments.
Tess. Half a day, Tiro, and good morning, everyone. For the record, my name is Corina Magovnia, and I am here in my official capacity as the people's representative to present and submit oral and written comments to this body with regards to the impeachment hearing of Governor Raul de Leon Guerrero Torres. I believe we can all agree that there are two sides to every story, right? Well, unfortunately for today's hearing purposes, the people of the CNMI will only hear one side, and that is Governor Torres' team of legal counsels who will be presenting the case to this body, hoping for their consideration to dismiss the impeachment trial. What can I say? At this juncture, it is what it is. I do, however, would still like for our people to hear and understand why the Senate body should not consider dismissing the impeachment trial. Rather, the Senate should consider convicting Governor Torres for all the laws he violated and his blatant disregard for how he used and abused public funds and resources, especially during a time when our people were severely suffering after a natural disaster. On January 12, 2022, Governor Raul de Leon Guerrero Torres, impeached by the House for commission of felony, specifically theft of utility services in violation of Title VI, Section 1609 of the Commonwealth Code. The law is very clear. Title I, Section 8222 of the Commonwealth Code provides for government housing for the governor and other key elected officials It is important to note that the law does not authorize the payment of utilities of private residential properties. And even if it was the policy of the Department of Finance to pay for the governor's utility bill with taxpayer money, these policies are not supported by law, period. But even assuming that there was such a policy or tradition to pay for the governor's private residence utilities, no law, regulation, or policy of the Department of Finance can provide the taxpayer-funded benefit of utilities for two residential properties at the same time. The facts and charges described in Article 1 are based upon the JGO Committee's review of records that include billings and payments for multiple residential utility accounts belonging to Governor Torres during the period February 2015 through August 2021, including records showing overlapping months during which the government paid for multiple residential accounts at the same time. The JGO also reviewed documentation obtained from CUC of the meters feeding particular structures and areas on Governor Torres's residential properties, including his home's outside kitchen and piggery. Requests for reimbursement of certain billing submitted by Governor Torres to the Department of Finance, including reimbursement for a cash payment he made to CUC totaling approximately $6,700. Sworn testimonies received from CUC Executive Director Gary Camacho, Finance Director Bernie Palacios, Special Assistant for Administration Matilda Rosario, Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios, and the Governor's Chief of Protective Security Joey Cruz. All these information came directly from live testimony and documents that were lawfully subpoenaed from the Torres administration. Based on this information, the House passed Article 1 and impeached Governor Torres because he unjustly and without legal authorization obtained more than $177,000 in taxpayer-funded utility benefits from CUC for his privately owned residences during the period of February 2015 through August 2021. During the six-year period, Governor Torres accumulated excessive utility bills associated with commercial piggery that was operating on his residential property. The governor also received utility benefits for two residences at the same time for a period of approximately 16 months between his two properties in Esteo and in Cobreville. For these reasons and facts, I highly encourage our honorable senators to please think of our people who elected you into office and do right by them. Do the right thing and do the honorable thing. Please convict Governor Ralph de Leon Guerrero Torres. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, senators. Good morning, viewers online, and good morning to the public. My name, for the record, is Layla Staffler, and I am a member of the House of Representatives. The 32nd President, FDR, said, "Justice consists not in being neutral between right and wrong, but in finding the right and upholding it wherever found against the wrong." These rules are not right. They were adopted improperly and it violated the Open Government Act. I was there on the day when it happened, and I watched as your floor leader suspended the rules that allowed them to be added to the agenda. And when you think of the Senate rules that also bar people from making public comments without a 24-hour notice, it makes it very hard for any person in the public to be able to give public comments when they didn't even know something was going to be on the agenda. How can a person follow the Senate rules in that case? These rules were designed to stump this process on the technicalities. The Senate has violated its own rules time and time again. Rule 18, for example, B, engaging in ex parte communications. It's very clear It says, sorry, give me a second. It's very clear. It says that a senator shall not permit, initiate, or engage in ex parte communications with the impeachment prosecutor or his or her staff, or the impeached official, or the impeached official's counsel or staff, except in certain circumstances. But we all know that there was a procedural and tactical advantage with the ex parte communication. And as much as a technicality would say that Viola Alapudu was not already hired by the governor's office, we all know of her long-standing relationships and personal engagements with him as an elected leader. And so to say that that is not considered ex parte doesn't look at the gray area that it exists. Rule 19 also was violated because this motion to dismiss is time barred, and we still have not had it says here that a motion to dismiss can only be given 14 days prior to the set of the commencement of the hearing on the articles of impeachment. Since we have not commenced the hearing on the articles of impeachment, how can we have a motion to dismiss? The rules were designed to block the evidence, because if you actually look at all of the receipts, it is very clear that this governor has abused his position with lavish spending year after year after year. You want to add to Karina's list $70,000, $78,000 spent on reimbursements for luxury items and dinners at the Hyatt with family. These are not considered public purpose expenditures. This impeachment process is designed to protect the public spending, and the rules that were created were designed to protect this governor. So we ask that this Senate reconsider what they're planning to do today and actually call a hearing, and please allow for the House to do its job. Allow for the House to give their prosecutors the chance to show you this evidence, because there are pages and pages and pages, and it's hard to deny that this spending was not appropriate. Thank you.
Good morning, honorable senators. I am Donald Manglonia and a member of the 22nd House of Representatives. My comments today relate to Article 3 of the Articles of Impeachment in order to provide you with some insights into our decision to impeach Governor Torres and to aid you in understanding why the House impeached Governor Torres for corruption, unlawful first class and business class travel. The language in Section 704, restrictions on government paid travel outside the Commonwealth, is precise. It reads, the Commonwealth government shall not purchase or furnish for or reimburse to any employee, contractor, board member, or other person required to travel on behalf of the government, its departments, divisions, agencies, and autonomous agencies, an airline ticket for travel in first class, business class, or any other premium class designation. There are no exemptions to this, and this is stated very clearly. This is not the House's interpretation. This is what the law states in black and white. The law is clear and its definition is precise. We do not need to be fancy lawyers to understand this. The governor and his wife are responsible for causing at least 54 first class and or business class airline tickets. They violated the laws a grave number of times and further violated by seeking reimbursements for personal items bought on many of these questionable trips. I say questionable because in our review, the required post-travel documentations were missing trip reports and itineraries. Additionally, items bought and later sought for reimbursements are not found anywhere in the government's possession. You all have heard the items purchased on these questionable trips: hunting equipment, wireless headphones, Bluetooth speakers, coolers, etc. A common person can sense that these items have no government purpose. One of the dozen of trips taken by governor and his wife amounted to $16,250. This cost for just one trip could have paid for a year's salary of one individual in need out of the hundreds or thousands that could have benefited. Instead, it provided a luxury premium class travel to the governor and his wife so they can comfortably fly to places like their home in Boise. Many households in Rota, Tinian, and Saipan live with less than $16,000 a year. These are households with children. Imagine each time as the governor and his wife flew illegally on first class, business class, or premium class, our government could have supported a family who already struggles to pay for the rent, mortgage, education, clothes, and food. Politics has nothing to do with the suffering of these people. Whether they are Republican, Democrat, Independent, or completely neutral, they are all suffering. Recently, the Office of the Attorney General charged the governor with 12 counts of violating Title VI, Section 3202 of the Commonwealth Code, misconduct in office. One count of theft. This is a felony. All of these counts were for the use of public funds for illegal travel. It has been violated multiple times when the governor's wife flew on business, first, or premium class purchased by public funds. The evidence is all there. You can take a look at the travel authorization documents and the boarding passes. This cannot be disputed. The evidence is there for all to see. Not only are their first business or premium class travels in violation of our laws, but the manner in which they were arranged are unethical and immoral. They dismiss our people's intelligence and trust and is an insult to the many who don't have jobs, don't have ways to sufficiently provide for their families, who struggle to keep their utilities on and pay for daily life necessities. If this is not a travesty and betrayal of the public's trust, then I don't know what is. The language in the statutes is clear and precise. The governor and his wife violated in more than one occasion, in more than 20, 30, 50 occasions, the laws stated in Section 704, 3203, and 7705. Despite their travel authorization being approved by the lieutenant governor and the director of finance, the request came from the governor. The travel was taken by him and his wife, and the law was broken by them as well. Despite being advised against traveling first class, it did not stop them from traveling in luxury at the expense of the people in many occasions. We need to restore the public's trust in government, even if that means holding our Commonwealth's highest office accountable. Others cannot continue to operate in fear of retribution. How can we expect our people to respect our government and hold it to the highest standards if we cannot perform our duties by enforcing the same standards towards those entrusted with the power to govern responsibly? Thank you for allowing my public comment. I am optimistic that you all will see the clear violations of laws and public trust and do not only what is right, but what is expected of you as leaders. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Selena R. Babauta, and I'm here as a duly elected member of the 22nd House of Representatives representing Precinct 1. If the governor is not required to follow the laws, why should we? We cannot have one rule for the ruler and another for the ruled. Prior to the filing of the 14-count criminal information, Governor Torres and the Office of the Governor expressly pointed to the politically neutral CNMI Office of the Attorney General and the CNMI Office of Public Auditor and their perceived inaction as support for their claims that he had done nothing illegal. Governor Torres claimed that he had done nothing illegal then the AG would have already charged him. In the recent lawsuit that he filed against the JGO, the governor essentially gloated that the contempt charge, certified by the Speaker of the House and included as an article of impeachment, was frivolous. The governor and his supporters would have everyone believe that the AG's silence was supposedly a sign that the House leadership was wrong and the governor was right. The governor confused the silence of the AG's patient and methodical due diligence as a
Sorry.
ringing endorsement,
Dispensado, Representative Salina. Somebody's phone is ringing.
not mine. May I continue?
Yes, you may. Go ahead.
The governor confused the silence of the AG's patient and methodical due diligence as a ringing endorsement for his misconduct. This position certainly did not age well. In an attempt to shift attention from the actual criminal charges and the potential jail time that he now faces, the governor now claims that the criminal case is politically motivated. This is absolutely shameless. Was the US Attorney's Office and the FBI being politically motivated as well? Were the federal district court judges being political when they signed the federal warrants? The governor and his team of taxpayers paid attorneys called the JGO's investigation a witch hunt. It seems like everyone, except of course the governor, is politically motivated. The Senate president implied that either I or the JGO committee members were to blame for the disorganized record, ignoring thousands of pages of evidence. The Senate president dismissed the House impeachment record as disorganized, defective, and deficient. So much for judicial impartiality and temperament. If the Senate president actually had attempted to be fair and reasonable, he would not have prejudged the impeachment record. He would not have insisted that he and he alone select the House prosecutors. He would not have tried to dismiss the case on a technicality. The Senate has always had the votes to acquit. So why even cheat on the rules? The simple answer is that the governor has too much to hide. Rather than testify under oath, he sued the JGO and has moved to dismiss the case in the Senate. He never intended to clear his name because he knew that once everyone got to see the House impeachment records, that everyone would see the truth. The 14-count criminal information filed by the CNMI AG's office listing 12 counts of misconduct in public office, 1 count of theft, and 1 count of contempt confirms this. Make no mistake, the filing of local charges against the governor is just the beginning. Federal indictments against others will follow. The governor claimed that in the aftermath of these criminal charges, they will take the high road. The only high road for the governor is the one that leads to his resignation. He needs to stop dividing our community. We know this will never happen because rather than step down with some dignity, the now disgraced governor says we shall prevail. Prevail over whom exactly? The AG's office? The FBI? Justice? If Governor Torres truly wants to take the high road, he can simply resign. If the Senate used the same attention to detail and scrutiny that it did with our House impeachment record to lead it to find the most insignificant typographical errors and misspellings, presumably it should also be able to see the blatant and obvious abuses of the public's trust, theft, neglect, and corruption.
Representative Abauta, your 5 minute is up.
May I have a few seconds? Thank
Proceed.
you. Presumably, it should also be able to see the blatant and obvious abuses of public trust, theft, neglect, and corruption that the record documented in over 8,000 pages. When the sun sets today, that is exactly the record the governor would want the Senate to dismiss. I thank you for your time.
Mrs. Masia, thanks. Floor is still open for public comment.
Good morning, Senate President, Senators, and the public at large. My name is Vincent Semeno Don Cobri. I am here to voice out as a concerned citizen as to speak for those who are fear of speaking publicly. No, this is not political. This is about justice and upholding the rule of law that we all must abide by. In your Senate impeachment rule, it is mentioned in Section 5, post-hearing and other matters. Under Rule 43, amendment to the suspension of impeachment rules, quote, in the interest of justice. What is the meaning of justice? According to the Black's Law Dictionary, 11th edition, 2009, page 1033, justice, 1, the fair treatment of people. 2, the quality of being fair or reasonable. 3, the legal system by which people and their causes are judged, especially the system used to punish people who have committed crimes. And 4, the fair and proper administration of laws. So, what CNMI law has been violated that would constitute an elected official to be impeached? Well, according to the JGO and the Attorney General's office, and again, the OPA, as all the previous speakers have mentioned, I will not go through that. So now, should this Senate body overlook any of the previous mentioned violations by the JGO, the Office of Attorney General, and the Public Auditor's Office, the Senate body might have committed a violation of the law for misconduct in public office, 6 CMC subsection 3202. You might just have as well violated Title 6, Chapter 3 in cahoots crimes, okay, on 6 CMC subsection 303, conspiracy, 6 CMC subsection 301, attempt. My sincere purpose today is not political, religious, nor familial ties, but purely to ensure that the rule of law is followed. How is it that if any ordinary citizen takes a 5-cent bubble gum from a store without paying for that, the person will be sent to jail, ordered to perform community service work, pays a fine, and possibly offenses placed on their records? Are elected officials immune from the laws they were sworn to uphold in accordance with the Constitution? In the Constitution, on Article 17, Oath of Office, let me remind you, and I will read it verbatim. Section 1, Oath of Office. All members of the legislators and officers and employees of the Commonwealth and its political subdivision take office shall take and subscribe to the following oath of or affirmation. Quote, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution and the laws of the Northern Marianas Island, the covenant to establish a Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Island in political union with the United States of America, the applicable provisions of the Constitution, laws, and treaties of the United States of America, and that I will faithfully discharge my duties to the best interest of my ability, so help me God, unquote. I can attest that no one is above the law. So please, for the sake of justice, for the rule of law, and our CNMI's future, our children, that you do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Udon. Proceed.
Buenos días, señores dan señora. Senators, especialmente Hago, President House Senator. Si Jesus masih pun unsay dito para bikintusiam jo. Di. Bitutong itay gini. Si Jesus masih ni Junmijo no decision nati para ma-impeach si governor. Urespecta todo do'y membro sa Papa na guma ni Akamatsogi. Law, gahan separation of power between San Papa na guma dan San Hilo. Isang Papa sogit sa sunya, maulik. San Hilo lenyap, maulik kalukit, tapula. That's fair. Polo sa Attorney General ng Ingwa, pero sogi, polo sa gino sogi. Datali monut niya. Law, David ta nak komprendi na manggay dikikitaw no, unuta na klasin taw-taw. Sa kalambula, bengatibo, galong kurason ta. Lastima. Manohanert, manus pimisa, mananay tayo, gigimadus. Zaman, mas takilo pagi bengatibo, gi para igubit no. Niun taw-taw, tada na latsi. Todo si taw-taw, siyempre man latsit. Isay na, kilalatsi. Polo sa ilay ucogi cisonya. Man makpit pago sa sta. Edisyon niyo ni senador. Tada, makpit pago. Takono na paregima. Enawa, Douglas Jesus Masi.
Dispensa sa senyor,
Inaano si Pedro de Leon Guerrero Pangilinan.
Jesus Masi, thank you. Floor is still open for any member of the public to. And again, I want to remind everyone to please take heed on the agenda and items, stay within that context, and also observe the 5-minute rule. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lorraine Ada. I am proud voter of Precinct 3. I am 43 years old, born and raised in the beautiful island of Saipan. I have 4 children and 1 grandchild. I am person in recovery and one of the Drucker graduates and president of Women of Destiny that is making a big difference and saving lives in the community. I am going to be honest with you. I am not going to beat around the bushes. I support the governor 100%. You should come outside and see so many supporters are here for the governor. I am here because I believe in this leadership. I am here on my own will. No one forced me to come here. Governor Torres is a proven leader through typhoon and through pandemic. It is the Governor Torres and new Senate members that continue to protect the retirement fund. The politicians are trying to remove governor from this election. This is not right and it is not fair. Please, 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 let us decide our governor, not the House Democrats or independents. Thank you.
The floor is still open for any other member of the public that would like to offer a public comment. Please state your name for the record and kindly ask that you adhere to the 5-minute rule. Thank you.
Is the Honorable Senate President, Senators, Judges of this impeachment court, good morning, and to all of us here in this chamber. My name is Segundo Lapiciros Jr. I am residing in the village of Puerto Rico, I am an active Filipino community volunteer. It's been a tough year for all of us as we start to emerge from the stress, anxiety, sadness, and fears of the past 2 years. Many of us are wondering what's the best support when a person we love, who did a lot of things in our community, is going through these difficult times. Emotional healing is not a one-size-fits-all approach, which is why it is important to be compassionate and understanding. In other words, what works for one person may not work for somebody else. Sometimes people don't want to hear that it will be okay. They want to hear that we'll be there for them if things are not okay. You can do something by letting people know that your support for them does not depend only on their success and accomplishments. I am making this statement today in acknowledging Governor Torres' leadership and hard work for the people of the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Island. I had first-hand experience of his leadership in advancing our interests through the most devastating typhoon in our history. From Typhoon Sudilor, Typhoon U2, and the latest COVID-19 pandemic. We had experienced incredible assistance that led our Commonwealth, to recovery. We had a higher vaccination rate and have the lowest death for our population. For me, it is the kind of leadership we need. Lastly, please let the will of the people decide for the better of Commonwealth. Salamat po at mabuhay.
Good morning. My name is Monique Sablon for the record, but I will be presenting a written statement on behalf of Karen Tenorio Cabrera Ife. Half a day, I wrote this message from Hawaii and ask it will be read into record. My name is Karen Tenorio Cabrera Ife. I am a CNMI resident and voter of Precinct 5. I have been a strong supporter of Governor Torres since he first announced that he was running for the House of Representatives many years ago. I've witnessed him grow as a leader as he navigated the House, Senate, and then Lieutenant Governor and Governor of the CNMI. His record of accomplishment speaks for itself and doesn't need to be recounted here. Today, my desire is to highlight how impressed I've been with how Governor Torres has managed this relationship between the CNMI and U.S. military. He has found ways to move our islands forward while preserving sacred lands that should never be sacrificed. Governor Torres's experience, wisdom, and professionalism makes him the most qualified individual to lead our people for the remainder of his current term and for as long as he is elected by the people. Thank you for your time. On behalf of Karen Tenorio Cabrera Ife.
Thank you. The floor is still open for public comment.
Afternoon, Tiro. Honorable Senators of the 22nd Commonwealth Legislature, and to everyone present today. My name is Jordan Taitono, an EMT, father, husband, and a loyal supporter of Governor Ralph Torres since I was 13 years old until this day. First, thank you all for allowing me the privilege to speak today to vote against the articles of impeachment. I am here in support of Governor Ralph Torres, most importantly, to please vote against the articles of impeachment. I have known and followed the governor since I was a teen, and have been a member of the private political group that follows him. This will be my fifth election following him since he started his career in politics. I have watched and learned so much from him as a citizen and a politician. He displays true leadership through all the challenges he continues to face. I have witnessed him as a brother, father, husband, nephew, uncle, and godfather. He has held all these roles with admiration, as I hold those roles myself, and yet he still finds time for the CNMI. I also can say I have followed, watched, learned, and witnessed him as a House representative, senator, lieutenant governor, and a governor. Again, I will continue to believe in him by the actions of compassion he continues to provide for the CNMI, even through all the scrutiny. Governor Torres, Ralph Torres, serves his community well through his display of solicitude towards the people of the CNMI. Governor Torres worked with influential people to promote the CNMI, issued immediate aid during Typhoon Sululor, Typhoon Yutu, and the pandemic. Signed into law the legalization of cannabis, which benefits most of our residents who suffer chronic pain. Until this day, the community still benefits from the many assistance Governor Ralph Torres continues to provide to rebuild our islands, the economy, and the well-being of our people. In addition to that, he has made headlines worldwide via social media, newspaper, with a fast-acting organization and process to assure the welfare of our community before the pandemic hit. These are just a few of the many tasks the governor has accomplished to serve the people. There is one thing I learned being a part of my campaign group. I learned the true definition of support. I learned that support isn't judging someone and being complacent. Support is when you believe in someone and when such unfortunate events occur. We don't immediately judge. We should immediately extend help and provide assistance to the actions that may have caused such unfortunate events. This exact action is the reason why I have remained loyal and continue to stand by Governor Ralph Torres. He is a forgiving person who finds the goodness in people, even if that person wronged him. I learned so much as he always made time for us during his campaign over the years, and those moments he would sit and talk to all of us about the importance of many different things. He has filled his political positions as a result of the people. It is only fair and just that the governor be given the fairness of finishing his term. Let us all do it the right way. Allow us to decide the governor's political fate the right way. Once again, I kindly ask to vote against the articles of impeachment. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Senator, my Senate legislature. God bless us all and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Good morning, President Hapsanader and members of the Senate. Daw na introduce ito, Guaho na ano si Bernardo Ramos Cruz. Guaho uno, galon inkilis dono o tauto gitano, usa popota do fafay sinhamzo, gida halong ikorson mizo, then dismiss and negotiate article of impeachment. Sa kinaprendik ko dan tiningo dan kinaitatay sa muna hafa na masusesedi Latino siya na agenda ipuro may lagno si gobyerno giposisyon na ni Ma'am Maulika. Dan patata ni Tano todo tatte. Gua sa senator ni di anti-makupo pus mamudo ni si Damo. Pagunora ipuro may impeach gobyerno sa lingyan na contempt apa siya na hafkaw na palabra ni di man matastangan iti conveni. Mr. President and senators, utatay tayo pahingi isti kumilalingag isti gugo di lalingag what is doctrine of common sense. Usod non-nesti na tauto se Tomas Philip, the stede gitagini na palabra. Lenya, well, common sense is the senses being pulled all together to form one idea. Dan watang pagusti the chamber na house then senate. I don't know. Mano China lokit tiningo dan mano China kinimprendek ko. Lo you leaders, especially the house, ilengnya dito ni si house na empieza gobyerno sa igrupo niya, adala, isitin na Democrat, dan ido na Republican, dan kontrol independensya. Si Taiwan no. Malada taman sa tunga pa man modern na tautos ta. Manggaigin anta Amerika. Por razón, San Marcano distan. Pues go fafahinamdo na por favor na suwan na palabra ipunakusay gobyerno na mananyak. Go no personal ani man matesti FBI da ready senyor gobyerno magalayita gumanya maamuni ko sasnya lo ba lai tatte por razón que emprender ko tada isaunya man matesti man malateta pago di man nebu na leader da man bistiga da linga sa linga na manyakke mungano salati senyor utagi na FBI da mada bisa ngonen tu put go anti de bihujun anti de bidwakbo por razón si Jetty Thompson saya prende ambil na kada dumang kru di presu tu kita ki hapun mumu atu na lo tienno ia be tangi na sodang miso poka po si dus mase o fafasinam de talo na we jimar dismiss and no na causa the article of impeachment sa tada isauni gobyerno si dus mase.
Susmasi, Mr. Cruz. Floor is open for. Thank you, and I'd like to remind everyone to state your name for the record and also stay within the 5-minute time limit. Thank you.
Lesor Mamay Metro, I am Vivian Peter Nogis, and I would like to read a statement that has been presented by a citizen who isn't able to make it today. My name is Jacqueline Michelle Atalik, and I am a resident of Saipan. I am writing to express my support of Governor Ralph De Leon Guerrero Torres, whose leadership got us through difficult economic times, 2 super typhoons, and this ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. I had worked in the CNMI government during his administration at the Department of Public Lands as the special assistant. Professionally, I have observed Governor Torres as a humble and sensible leader who always had an open door policy and was ready and willing to listen. As a resident of Saipan during Super Typhoon U2, I saw a leader who proactively took steps to quickly obtain and deploy critical resources and relief for our community. Personally, Governor Torres is a man of faith and family, as I have met him and his family regularly at Sunday Mass in San Vicente. Governor Torres is resilient just like our community. No matter the storm, and while his opponents try to bring him down, he maintains his focus on his goals in moving the CNMI forward. Please dismiss this impeachment and allow the governor to continue serving our community. Thank you for your time and consideration. I would like to continue. Esarli ibu kodli hila, we mushel ibu titila pihus merel buloy. Au mangi bao siya atolunger alunger shakke, where bu feri lai, where ba mamawa, me ba hatchimalawash, aramasal faliu. Sangi hare tolong, esar meta referi el murlal taifuniel me lal pandemic ya sikilo hila. Alangal shak meta referi ngerabang amarasar aramas. Governor Torres, epile alangal sa Shaul, may busik karera ramas.
Tsangir lair mesalimal we ewa homar lar masalfaliu. Ibushel bobu mengi obu masla ngawari metak keyor lalfaliu kafalawash. Aramaska seik mefau or famal ikararawe ir bosui nge ngangi hila bibura besawir bosui besawiel tipemem ngerengangi kihal bibukir lerela takale meyai familia sawir bosumem bahir subhuta metaya subferi besubam ahatri malawash mawan mikafalawash si sabla nga sala tratu ahalawi shakis onhat kwe bengarar sengalle hisman sana iwa subla buhi besubla tararo melalim ilasah minim shal babu mengi au subayula impeachment process yan ngau sama talamal bekisok problema mikafalawash au suhila sabuilimi au suhila sabuilimi bawuri be eyor mas problema kanesita besuferi mal subuhutta metaye subangawara kashe aramas hilisau.
This was Miss Nogues.
Guahu, si Joseph Indalicio Dueñas. Good morning para todo Hanzo. Hafa na para umakastiga igubinota. Our governor, para uma-impeach po the misuse of funds, hadas bulan na departamento sumutsugesti. Timanyok ki igubinota. Pues maila ja tanoy ja kontinua umajuda tori tau-tau. Talo, timanyok ki gubinota, timambok sa gubinota. Igubinota, maulig na gubinno. Sa hafa, jujuday tau-tau. Your hami ni man retire. Bonus para hami. Biba retires. Low. Mana stam ni house. $500 ni paresiusi man magusto di tau-tau. Taja na gubinno sumutsugesti. Tafan maguf ja tanaw man maulik ki gubinota edjuha iman pulilitika hilingnya ti maulik ismaila jata kontinua sumapotay gubinota talo maulik gubinota adios thank you todo para Ranzo jan todos para okay edjigihan na maka na matu i FBI ja magwaddo ki tinaguniya i house lo munggi toda masoda istaman na sidbi bako ni pamagwaddo ja aligaw ti masoda es hafa na patasiga kumintunuas na klasin problema this tasapot te gobierno sa mamuli ka bidanya. Thank you para todos ikonbinimizo in sen agradeci. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dueñas. The floor is still open for the comments. And kindly state your name for the record and adhere to the 5-minute rule. Thank you.
My name is Keith Adda. Thank you, honorable senators, for giving me a chance to speak today. Just so there's no misgivings, I'm against this whole impeachment process, this whole proceedings. Okay. All right, so I want to talk about character here. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have seen my videos before, how I bashed the governor before, and I've gotten a lot of flack for it. But let me tell you all something. A man of that stature who can bring himself down to my level, lower level, and was willing to talk with us, willing to settle everything, that shows a lot of character, and I respect that. Okay? I saw something today, let me talk about reconciliation here. I saw something this morning on one of the posts by Delbert Pua, where they had Uncle Arnold, Tina, and everybody in that picture. Wow, that's very nice. One big happy family, huh? Well, when I reconciled with the governor, Let me tell you what they called me. They called me a traitor. They called me a sellout. They called me a buyout. That's the type of mentality that's over there on that other side. You know? And what can I say? That's the way they want to be. There's so much hate coming from that other side.
Mr. Ada, can you just contain your comment on
sorry.
the?
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyways, in regards to these proceedings, there's nothing honorable about these proceedings. Okay. How this came about, what I was taught by my uncle, the war veteran, you face your opponent, you face them on the battlefield. You understand? Face us in this election, not with these proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ada. And then the floor is still open for any member of the public who would like to offer public comment. And again, I ask that you stay within the context of the agenda today and the 5-minute rule. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President and members of this august body. I am Mathilda A. Rosario, and I'm here before you as a citizen of this great commonwealth we call home. Having been in government service and a public servant since the election of the first governor in 1979, I have not seen so much hatred by a few whose interest is simply to tarnish a sitting governor who has done so much to improve the livelihood of every CNMI citizen. We have all witnessed what Governor Ralph Torres has accomplished as a senator, lieutenant governor, his accession to governor, and to an elected governor. He has been mocked, ridiculed, humiliated, all for doing a phenomenal job. From one disaster to another, the pandemic, and now the quest to impeach him, to remove him from office because he's doing so well, the haters couldn't stand it. The plan to remove Governor Torres from office is a conspiracy planned well in advance since 2017. But our governor will not let his critics bring him down. Instead, he rises to the challenge and continues to do his job as head of state. And that is to be vigilant, resilient, and to keep our Marianas strong. Previous governors and attorneys general have traveled first class. Why not this governor? Taga fundamento niya estina impeachment. I urge you, Mr. President and members, to dismiss the case before you to impeach Governor Ralph Torres. Si Diyos maasi giliso, and thank you.
Good morning, Senators, Honorable. My name is Victorino de Longuero Torres, and I am here on behalf of Governor Ralph de Longuero Torres. I was born and raised here on the island of Saipan. My parents, my mom is Primitiva de Longuero Torres. My dad is Vicente de Longuero Torres. He passed away in 2012. I was born here, raised here, grew up in Cobbler, went to Chalancanoa Elementary School, went to Hubwood Junior High, high school here, went to Boise, graduated, and then off to law school. And the one thing my parents wanted was to come back and help our people. And in 2002, we came back. We all did. And we opened our practice. And I've been practicing here on the island of Guam for over 20 years. I am here because I know the governor personally. I speak on behalf as a brother, but also on behalf as a citizen. I can tell you that he works tremendously hard. When the first typhoon hit Sodelor, he was a lieutenant governor. He was new, he was young. But what we know and what I can tell you, he was not sleeping day and night and in the weekends. And he learned so much from Sodelor. You saw the devastation. You saw what happened when you're not prepared. But when the next typhoon hit, you too came. And it was the largest typhoon ever in history. And before you two hit landfall, the White House had already declared a natural disaster. Help and assistance was already mobilized before typhoon hit. The day typhoon hit, there was help here already. Assessments were being done hours after it landed and cleared. The island of Tinian was the most devastated. And he treated the island of Tinian with fair and treated it right. No politics. We are all one Marianas, and we've seen him do that. I can tell you, because I have heard and I have seen his messages late at night asking how to better the Marianas. And he's missed family functions, many family functions, because he's out. And when he's traveling, it's no fun. It's taxing. And I can tell you, from what's happening now, I am not happy, I'm not proud, I am hurt. And what's the message for our new generation and our new kids? What's going to happen if you run up for next? You know, I heard Tina Sablan come up here and blames the Senate. I heard she says it's going to be one-sided. I heard Corina come up and said that you're only going to hear one side of the story. Well, she was appointed as a prosecutor. She didn't take and accept it. They put the governor on trial. Now they put the Senate on trial. The rules work both ways. It exists for the protection of all Commonwealth. And I want to just say this. When you have the opportunity to be a prosecutor with subpoena powers and present evidence, don't take the easy way out and go on the podium when you can present evidence. Now, I've come to a crossroad personally, and this is a tough time for me, for my family. But I want to send a message to all the young leaders and future generation, not to let this proceeding deter you from public service. It is going to be hard. You are going to get unfair attack. You've seen Governor Torres make tough decisions in the pandemic, unpopular ones. He got attacked. And you will be. But what I hope is a fair landscape of approach in the future. Senators, you will be in that position now. Por favor, nai e atenção niya disesaya para itautauta. Jesus Masi.
Jesus Masi. Mr. Torres, floor is still open. Kindly state your name for the record and also kindly adhere to the 5-minute rule.
Thank you, Mr. President, and this August body, senators. Good morning, everyone. My name is Martin Borja Haddad. Since the day this investigation started, we all know that it's politically motivated. It's politics 101A. If I was traveling in the same airplane with the governor and I had the business class seat and he has the economy seat, I'll give him the business class seat because he is very, very important to the Commonwealth 24/7 as well as the First Lady. There are other charges that have been levied against the governor that could have been taken care of administratively. Seriously, we're going to criminalize business class ticket for a simple Department of Finance travel policy that if it's really a violation, he should be impeached for that? Coolers, whatever, cameras? I was a congressman for 8 years, and I've seen the way public funds were used. And of course, I won't name any names, but I've seen those violations and even more than that. And we're going to impeach a governor for simple things that could be taken care of. I thank this Senate body for setting this hearing today and entertaining this trial to dismiss the articles of impeachment. I ask the Sinamec community to join us to keep our governor, who's doing a great job in helping and developing our CNMI. Thank you.
Mr. Adda, and at this time, we'd like to call for a 5-minute recess. we're back into continuing our hearing, and we left off on agenda 4, which is public comments, and the floor is still open for any member of the public to offer comments on the subject item on our order of business for today's meeting. So please proceed to the mic and respectfully ask that you state your name for the record and stay within the time limit of 5 minutes.
Good morning, honorable senators. My name is Rosemary Camacho, and I'm here to represent the community. I am a member in this democratic community, and I'm very thankful for this democracy. I'm here to respectfully and sincerely ask you to please issue your vote of no to move forward with this impeachment. Please allow our governor to complete the task that he pledged to do, and that is to lead our Commonwealth. It is not easy to lead a community where you have opposing and perhaps sometimes polarized opinions and positions. But our governor continues to take the stand and make the best choice that he can at the time. I am thankful that he continues to represent us. Even if I don't always necessarily agree with every single decision, that is what leadership entails. I don't have anything really prepared to say, but I'm just hoping that you will allow democracy to speak this election. Thank you.
This is Ms. Camacho.
Good morning, Senate President, members of the House. Go si Dolores Reyes Drew. At manzo lokki na matotsuge legislatura and yalala si difunto Manny Brown Tenorio. I was here 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 legislature. I'm also retired already, and I used to be the Director for Women's Affairs Office under the Governor's Office. Malago do na besangan gi lingwahita gi chamoro. Da sesigi mas ni gagi sinintekku. Anmanzo na matotsuge legislatura. Pagan uri palas di siya, apa man masusesedi mampus makan na skandalo man masusesedi gal mesti. Sempagwan yulis di siya. Okay? Mampus bula man sangannya gubernur. Diretsas kweddas tada ti masangan. No? Pus guaw na uno laki usapopotay gubernur. No mana palas di siya, nakutsinada gal mesti ipaw ma-impeach gubernur. Taza ni uno. Paisin mai sanzo. Taza ni uno gilutano iti mulalasi. Pasin mai sanzo ko ti man lalachan zo laki. Umbis yubis boy mamali man lalachi. Costa Rica i gobierno perenchegi tagini dikikitanus te. Angin bula titanus gisanalum na fandanya titanus mido den chegi maulik. Basta dun isti minimo. Estigi palo distoso itodo. Haji na gobierno gilutano tumotagi. Typhoon Sadular, Typhoon Yuto, i COVID. Todos te man halum na atake giza hita lo mungi nagaya na tumotagi. Mungi otro na partner. Mungi gi. Apa nagiza pag kalalamtin za falasti na skandalo todo matugedanya. Gofna bubusti dan tay pasensya dusta sa sininte ko anman do gali mesti daw tungo afa masusesedi. Diretsas ko da si palabra fago. Sukati mang convenio na palabra manafan ujungnya sa purpamanadaonnya gobierno dan familiarnya. Haji na tao-tao na gobierno po na moday. Sempin yung moday gi first class. Sa tipo na moday gi santati na fansiya dan stewardess. Tatatas ti. Magasta. Ang sumotu lobster. Malitrato na masangan na sumotu lobster. Ansa na tubungo man yung lobster. Estigi tayo todo may binadanya. Itaw-taw mo sa presensya na gobierno. Dali na presensya. Ufatsutsui 4 años. Datasan yung ligi los mataw. Ni nunca beses ni ligi los mataw na mamatas na gobierno. Ni nunca beses. Pareho dyan na sagonya. Anay matututudo director ni Women's Affairs Office. Todo tempo mafato. Da atetse kami ni pamalawan. Hafa ko nasisita po adudami. Estigi na klaseng gobierno ta nasisita. Teji manggal na pespon atuk. Zamaf Cheko Ponchogya for Tiger, so Tiger Gisagamo. And Niki Pagwa, so said the Lieutenant Governor, Palacios, Mungi Gwe, Mungi Tau Town niya.
Mr. Drew, please contain with the order. Okay? Sagagi subject pa ko, mga no muzong deviate.
Okay, si Dus Masi dan dispensa do sa esta mampus no iningongo ko siya na palabra, timang kumbeni. Zamalago jo na umana paras ti na impeachment senador, panmanatan put fabot, sa dikikita nota. Basta do ng pan apin point unutan no truchegi maulik, zamana paras ti po na ma-impeach gobyerno. Sa niyo nung kabesis niyo ligi dos matawan ni Fatutui, hafa malabiran niya. Tazan yung li unong kabesis hafa biran niya. Estabi na fan manungan do. Chegi maulik, decision midu, so respetan do como senador. Diallo mesti. Lo chegi maulik te tumidu, por favor, todo gagawam do na chegi maulik. Sa estigi na gumilnota, ta nasisita gilutano, itu motogi, disti papago kaya na tumotogi. Masya hafa mansangan niya, tumotogi da siya mo na patiki para duday manaw taon niya. Gaya na senador, nito ka hafa para masusedi, gaya na keketwa, lo estigi. Por favor, gagawando, na gobyerno ta nasisita, gitanota. Nito ka hafa umasangan, dispensado, dagin hafa, unafang putiam zo, lo este gagawando senador, fan manatan, por favor, sa mampareway na mangkilis damo. Jadi kita nota, ini jadi video nasu, na di kita nota tafan na famalik mo na tafan apipit, tafan famalik, tanagasgas apa patanagasgas, tasogi apa patasogi, lo dispensa ang ginagawa na pelimpi si gobyerno, goho mismo dani familia ko, ugagawam zo na parasti, na para por favor, si Diyos masi.
Thank you, Ms. Drew. Once again, the floor is still open for any member of the public to offer comments. And kindly state your name for the record and stay within the 5-minute time limit.
Thank you very much, Senate President. Olamay si Diyos Masi. Hang Lemi, Wimi, Sisto Kay Parigisomar. I've been a senator, secretary, chairman of a retirement fund, CDA, housing. So I'm saying this because I'd like to state that I am aware of nuances and intricacies that do occur in our CNMI, and I know what we can do and what we need not do. I believe ilugulugural aramasas, ilugulugural followers, Northern Marianas Islands. I believe in our people on our CNMI. Beware of those people. Afalli kami aramas karagi miss, kalamalier. Protect our land, protect Hitanota, Aramasa Sitota, Mayas, Governor. Aramas yang aray sa molya yue lang yan, we kafalig Aramasal Sapel. Measure the magnitude of accusation and how we spent 8 or more years on this impeachment process versus the magnitude of attention required, the help required, the support of our people who are suffering, needed from this legislature. I've been here before, and I don't believe it. We still haven't really done anything from the people accusing our governor. Thank you, Senate, this body, for giving me this opportunity and our people to be here to hear, and for making this a live show so they can hear us and hear our statements. I don't agree with these rules of impeachment which got us here today. I don't agree with the impeachment process. I don't agree with the trial rules, the defendant's rights being ignored, charges, validity, and the threshold of these charges. Come on. We have laws that you make laws. We have judges that decipher and interpret the laws that you make for the people, and the judges who make their wisdom and decision. You can't just make the laws and be the person deciphering the laws at the same time. I question the accusations against this body, the accusation against this body, the Senate, on the rules, that you are not following it. To me, it sounds like a convenient against this body, the Senate. Dereliction of duty, seriously? Solar law, YouTube, pandemic crisis, aramasayas Governor Elo, gaya gigilan na ni Toto siya siya. Half na the election. Ti mamay go Toto. SMI. Aramasas. MF Kaliami. Joe. He has exceptionally outperformed any governor I have known. So I totally disagree with the election of duty. I believe in justice, look, but not when a person's right to a fair trial is absent and ignored. Ella talabo ba tulong o esang ma question na yung why hiye metay ferry nge sumali ba pasa metay ibukle ba pasa nga abo Felipe ebo wal meli halra abo bugisang mali nga wa atrang liye noy ju chansa lokki kumuilek ko na tebay hannog gi gumamo sa taja jukku protection is rights pas tebay hannog te paron birawajan sangan na oh sa timatto ho pas mala sa bay bola so. Impeachment is a political process. So indeed, this is nothing but politics. I am here to plead for your fair deliberation and to hope for your most favorable consideration to review the performance of our governor. See that what he is accused of is not based on a proper trial. We are in a global crisis. We have bigger issues to tackle. The safety of our Marianas. There's Ukraine and Russia going on out there. There's Korea out there. What have we done to consider these things and these matters? Our people needs the continued leadership of our governor, which I do not see. And just as the others are at liberty to speak their mind, even though it's not necessarily properly correct and responsible, I would say it. I do not see the others doing anything about it. If I hear Meta na Laura Ferry. What have they done? So I do not want to waste any more time on this impeachment process. Talk to our people. What can we do to help finance and help our governor with this pandemic crisis? I've been out in the trenches, front line in our community with our governor. I've been out there, so I see it. He is the leader we need to help us move forward. So give me to that liberty to speak freely. This is from somebody who texted me. I'm sorry that our governor has to endure this political crucifixion. We voted for Ralph because we believe he can lead us as chief. The guy is entitled to err, as are we. And I'm sure
Secretary.
all of you have erred.
Mr. Secretary, Mr. Azulo, your time is up.
Thank you, honorable
Yeah,
body,
Jesus
Mr. President, Dr. Marianas, Tiro, Faisro, Olamai, Sejus Masi.
Thank you. And the floor remains. And kindly please adhere to the 5-minute rule.
Afaday, Metiro. Itay nga Melvin Faisal. Ilodlo, wal Nijeron Street, Mekagman 3. Ngang rol botol, Subway Tal Precinct 5. Itotorial Soralien, Bibutingar, Lala Tetel Buch, Metetel Gia. Tetel Buch, Metetel Gia, nge Faisal Rak Bukwal Pijem, Ayamujuk. Wabuyual, Palala Tol, Sabawe. Equality. Okay? Awabu Puralangal Shay. Unsubstantiated argument Merel House. Teneos argument. Isabalala Imalia Ibushaki Ramikan. Wa Governor Ye, Saulam Lamil, La Northern Mariana Island, Rafael Torres, Ayora Safali Aligas. Milorera largest economic development agency awardly single jurisdiction. Ngali senamay $88 million. Ngali garapan revitalization, NMC facility, MTI facility, Olia Sports Complex, Civic Center, Cultural Center, may IT division. Ewa yofi ngaligis, 21.2 million. Sangi EDA, Amalal Revitalization Kan. Awal Alasir, Armasal followers, Orang ali salapi sangi ana. Real Milor Rakelinian Youth Development Program. 3 years funding Merel ana. Negosyo li income eligibility may benefit fal ital nap food stamp program. Ewal religis wewa tete basur civil service mewal relir rakwer frozen bonuses under civil service employment. Ega tamaga ala bala mamau babubuhinga ligis salapi yergara CDBGR DR grant ye 244 million babala sirkis aramasal senamai. Ayora sangi OIA yo grant 82 million and still counting, forthcoming more. Elaisil bullol maliya yas governor. Bong meral real me bong. Ehimay lalo bong meral sigis armasal saipel. Iway laragi kitungar nga ligumi. Senate August body. Au very mille walawal laliami lemelem melaliami akkomas sabuye imami Senate. Yey may bali may. Ilara kiliso olomay.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin Fausal. The floor is still open. Kindly state your name for the record.
Hafide Zantiro. My name is Antonio Regis, and I am speaking on behalf of an off-island voter. My name is Garen Manglonia Kirgua. I'm here to provide my testimony in support of Honorable Governor Ralph Torres. I'm also here to humbly ask this Senate body for your favorable consideration to dismiss all articles of impeachment charges against Governor Ralph Torres. It is obvious that the article of impeachment by the Sinai House of Representatives are biased, politically motivated, and unfair. Governor Ralph Torres is a great leader and an awesome human being. He is a humble man that has great love to our Commonwealth and its people. Governor Torres has done nothing wrong. With 3 typhoons and a global pandemic, although he does not take so much credit, we should acknowledge that without his leadership and decision-making, our Commonwealth would not be where it is today. Again, I humbly ask this Senate body to vote no and dismiss all articles of impeachment against Governor Ralph Torres. Let us put this to rest and continue to move our Commonwealth forward. In closing, I would like to thank the members of the Senate for allowing me this privilege to speak on this matter. God bless us all, and God bless our great Commonwealth.
This is Mr. Regis.
Hafade and Tito, my name is Eloy Cruz. I am here on behalf of an off-island voter. Hafade Senators, my name is Jacqueline Michelle Atalik, and I'm a resident of Saipan. I am writing to express my support of Governor Ralph Longo Torres, whose leadership got us through difficult economic times, 2 super typhoons, and this ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. I had worked in the Sinai government during his administration at the Department of Public Lands as a special assistant. Professionally, I have observed Governor Torres as a humble and sensible leader who always had an open door policy and was ready and willing to listen. As a resident of Saipan during Super Typhoon U2, I saw a leader who proactively took steps to quickly obtain and deploy critical resources and relief for our community. Personally, Governor Torres is a man of faith and family, as I have met him and his family regularly at Sunday Mass in San Vicente. Governor Torres is resilient, just like a community. No matter the storm, and while his opponents try to bring him down, he maintains his focus on his goals and moving the Sinai forward. Please dismiss this impeachment and allow the governor to continue serving our community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. The floor is still open. Kindly state your name for the record.
Good noon. My name is Angelica Lastimado.
I'll be reading a letter from the heart from Miss Marta Badeles. Half a day and Tiro, everyone. I'm Marta Badeles, a Filipino. I live in San Antonio Village and been working here in Saipan for 16 years. For the past 16 years, I am also doing a community service alongside with other Filipino volunteers. Today, I'm standing in front of all of you with this statement to show my support to the governor for all his hard work and struggles in protecting the people of the CNMI. I have watched how he strived hard to create a strong Marianas. In spite of the damages of typhoon, he helped his constituents to rise and rebuild the islands. The people helplessness drive him to be more strong, passionate, and alongside with other NGOs relieve disaster from all over the world. We survive and more resilient and vigilant, most especially during the pandemic years. He raised an iron fist. Island was closed to keep us safe and almost COVID-free. The least to say, Saipan has the lowest rate of death in these times. During his reign, he proved himself to be a capable and strong leader with compassion and kind-hearted. He is a very respectful person, most of all, a family-oriented. It's just sad to hear all these rumors going on. Let us pray for unity at this time, and I urge each and everyone here to support him through your prayers, that he will hurdle through it. May it will be justified in a fair way. Let's spread love and stop spreading hate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Lastimado. I'm just giving the cue that there's no other member of the public who would wish to offer a public comment. Under consideration of time, I would like to call for a recess until 1:30 this afternoon, which that time we will move on to item 5 of today's notice agenda. Item 5 of today's agenda. So with that, this hearing's on recess until 1:30 p.m. Thank you.